Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga with Heini. I'm Heini, and this week I'm going to lead you through a fun curiosity flow. So looking for transitions that are not so common and just having fun with the poses. Let's get started. For this week's curiosity practice, it might be quite handy to have either some cushions, blankets, or a couple of yoga blocks somewhere nearby in case you want to use them as props. And we do have some poses where we are standing on the knees. So if you know that you have sensitive knees, have something soft that you can use to cushion your knees. That's all to get ready. When you have your space, when you have your props nearby, come lie down on the belly. We're going to start from lying down here. Just a little check-in before we start to move. You could bring hands under the head if you want, or you might extend your arms down next to the sides, wherever you feel good right now. And you could shimmy the pelvis, the hips a bit from side to side. Just let the pelvis soften down. Our flow today, it's not so much about strengthening, it's more about flexibility and mobility as we go through our fun transitions. Just so you know what to expect. Now take a moment longer here to breathe. Find a steady, calm flow in your breath. And let yourself come into the practice with an open mind. So we're trying maybe some new things today. And just stay open-minded and curious about your own body and about the poses. And let yourself have fun. That's the most important thing today. Let yourself have fun in your practice. Let's take one more breath in and out here, lying down on the belly. And then slowly with your next few breaths, bring yourself up onto all fours. And we're going to arrive into a movement that my colleague has named the disco cat. You could do it up on your hands and knees, or you could come down onto elbows. I'll do this on my elbows today because I rarely do it on my elbows. So just trying to change things a bit. And as we come into our disco cat, we start to roll our back. So going into rounding and back bending, but also going out to the sides. So trying to also open into the side body. And here, just let yourself move in the pace of your own breath. And see if you could find some movement, some circling movement in your neck and your head as well. Let your disco cat dance. And from an easy place, change the direction. Continue rolling your back the opposite way. Couple more circles, bringing movement to places where it's maybe more difficult to find movement. Let's do one more circle. And then come back to the center, and from your elbows, if you're down on the elbows, lift yourself onto hands and knees. And then next, we're going to extend our left leg out to the left side of the mat. Preparing for thread the needle, but today we'll try twisting to the opposite side. So now leave right hand on the mat. And then as you breathe in, reach the left arm up, open your chest out to the left. As you exhale, dive down with that left arm and thread the left arm under the right arm, so that you can lean your left shoulder, maybe the side of the head on the mat. Either leave your left hand on the mat somewhere closer to the shoulders, or see if you could reach your right arm to the top of the mat, maybe fingertips on the mat, cupcake hand in that right hand. Now it is a twist for the spine. It could be quite a big stretch on the inside of the left thigh, maybe the groin area. Make sure there's no pain. If you start to feel it's too much for that left leg, you can always bring both knees back down to the mat. Take another breath in and out. Smile. And then bring your right hand back closer to the shoulders and lift yourself onto two hands. Our left leg is now going to travel all the way to our hands. So step the left foot forward to your hands. So we come into a low lunge. And from here, lift your back up, reach arms up. And you don't need to sink really low down. You could keep yourself a bit higher up in that lunge. Inhale, lengthen up. And then as you exhale, twist to your left and open arms into some kind of T shape. Right arm reaching to the top of the mat, left hand reaching to the back of the mat. Next in breath, come back to center and reach the arms up. We'll try twisting to the other side. So as you exhale now, open chest to the right. So coming into an open twist. Here, make sure you could keep your left foot grounded. This might feel a bit more wobbly because we're going to the open side. And same way, arms reaching out away from each other. Breathe in and out. And then inhale, reach the arms back up. And as you exhale, bring hands back down to the mat. And now tuck your right foot toes under. And for a moment, lift that right knee off the mat. We're going to move into a seated twist. And the way we're going to do it is shift the weight onto your left foot and then pull the right knee in close to that left heel so that you can bend the right knee and sit down onto your right buttock. Sit down onto both buttocks and continue twisting, turning to the left side. Right arm can hug the left knee. Hello, you can peek over your left shoulder. Breathe here in and out. Let your both buttocks sink down towards the mat. Left hand could be behind you, supporting the back. Take another breath here. So you don't have to turn the head. You can also keep your head more neutral. And then we're going to travel back the same way. So now release the twist. Bring hands to the top of the mat and kind of unfold the legs, come back into that lunging pose. And from there, we're going to turn to the other side of the mat and we come into an open half squat. So keeping the right leg extended, bend into that left knee. And it could be, again, big opening in the inner thighs, groin area. Now you could stay here. You don't need to go any further than this. And if you feel that you want to support yourself onto your hands, you are very welcome to do that. But you have some options for twisting here as well. So one option is to reach left hand out to left side, elbow on the inside of the left knee. And from there, open the chest, reach the right arm up. If you want to try to go a bit further, you could now rotate your left shoulder in and reach left hand behind your pelvis and then bring right hand to that left hand. So you could maybe hook your fingertips or bring hands together behind the pelvis. So coming into binding and opening the chest. You could look up, you could look forward, you could even look down to the mat. And breathe here. It's quite deep pose now for the legs especially. So make sure it's not hurting. You can always come out of the pose. Take another breath in and out. Maybe smile here as well. And then slowly release the arms, bring hands on the mat. And then we're going to try sitting down onto the mat. So bring pelvis on the mat and release that left foot and bring left leg in front of you into half butterfly pose. The right leg is still out on the side. From here, we arrive into a side bend. So now slide your right hand along the right leg. Maybe it's coming to your shin, ankle, or maybe even around the toes, around the foot. As you inhale, open chest, reach left arm up. And exhale, slowly bend towards that right leg. So we come into a side bend. You don't have to reach the left arm up. You could also leave the left arm down, maybe behind the back. But keep the chest open. Take a few more breaths here in and out. See where you could release, where you could let go of tension that you don't need right now. Good. And then slowly as you inhale, reach your back, your arms up. And release the hands down. Now bring hands back to the top of the mat and turn right heel up as we turn into pigeon pose. And this is now going to be a proud pigeon. If you want, you could here bring a pillow or block under your left buttock, under the left hip. That might support the pelvis better. And we're going to stay open, stay upright. And breathe in and out. Proud pigeon. Take a few more breaths in and out. Could be big opening there around the left hip. Could be big opening in the front of the right leg. And it's a back bend. So be mindful of your back. If you start to feel too much in the back, you can always lean forward. And then with your next couple of breaths, tuck the right foot toes under, shift more weight onto your hands. And from here, step into downward facing dog. You can put props aside. And now take your dog for a little walk. Take a few steps forward towards the top of the mat with your hands and your feet. And then take a few steps backwards towards the back of the mat. So allowing that dog to move, allowing the whole body to move. Couple more times, stepping forward and back. And then from your downward dog, slowly bring yourself back down onto hands and knees. And we're going to do this flow to the other side, starting from that thread the needle. So on this second side, we're going to extend the right leg out to the right side of the mat. Make sure you have room on both sides. Leave left hand down, and as you inhale, open chest to the right. And then exhale, slide, thread that right arm under the left arm. Again, you could lean the shoulder, you could lean head down. Or if you feel that your head is just kind of hanging in the air, bring a block or a pillow under the head here. If you want, you could reach your left arm, left hand towards the top of the mat and maybe bring hand onto fingertips, the cupcake hands. And breathing here. And remember, if this is too strong now for the right leg, if there's any pain, bring the right knee back onto the mat. One more breath in and out. And then slowly bring the left hand back closer to shoulders and lift yourself onto both hands. We're going to now step the right foot forward to our hands, coming into that lunge. So here, if you need any cushioning for the knees, put something soft under the left knee. And inhale, lift your back up and reach the arms up. Again, remember, we're not going to sink into a deep, deep lunge. We're going to stay a bit higher up. Inhale. And then exhale, twist out to your right. Open arms into that T shape. Imagine your hands, your fingertips reaching away from each other. Breathe. And then inhale, reach back to the center, release the twist. Next exhalation, now twist to your left. And again, coming into that open twist, it might feel a bit more wobbly. So we are practicing some balancing here too. Keep tops of the shoulders soft, keep your neck free. And then inhale back to the center. And exhale, release both hands down to the mat. And now for a moment, tuck the left foot toes under and lift the left knee off the mat. Coming into that seated twist, pull the weight towards the right foot and bring left knee behind the right heel. Then sit down onto your left hip. Sit down onto your both buttocks and continue that twisting movement over to the right side. Now your left arm can hug the right knee in. You might even peek over the right shoulder. Right hand is somewhere on the mat, on the floor behind you. But again, turning the head is very optional. You can keep your neck more neutral. And breathing here, enjoying that twist going through the whole spine. And then slowly exhale, unravel that twist. And we go back the same way. Bring hands to the mat. Extend your left leg again behind you. And then, now excuse me for turning my back to you, but we're going to turn to the other side of the mat. Come into that half squat, where left leg stays extended on the side and we bend deeply into the right knee, hip and ankle. So remember, you can keep weight on your hands as well if bringing it down onto that right heel is just a bit too much now. And you have those options for a twist. You could bring your right hand out to right side on the inside of the knee. And then inhale, reach left arm up. So twisting out to the left. Or you have the option to rotate the right shoulder in. Reach right hand behind the pelvis. And then reach left hand to touch the right hand behind the pelvis. You might hook the fingers, bring hands together. Enjoy the twist wherever your arms are. And if you start to feel we're getting too deep, just come out of the pose a bit earlier. You could sit down on the floor a bit earlier. Take another breath in and out. And then if you have arms in that twist, release the arms, bring hands to the mat, and then lean to sit down on your pelvis. And now we're going to release the right foot and bring the right leg in front of us. We're sitting in that half butterfly pose. Sitting on both buttocks, the right shin is in front of you. And from there, slide or walk the left hand towards the left ankle, shin, or maybe even to the foot. And then inhale, reach right arm up, open the right side. Exhale, bend over towards that left leg. And again, you have an option to keep the right arm up, or you can bring the right arm behind the back. But try to keep chest open, opening the right side body. How would it feel to smile here? Does smiling release tension in your body? Take another breath in and out. And then with an in-breath, reach back up and release the hands down. And step hands to the top of the mat. Turn towards the top of the mat into the pigeon, into that proud, proud pigeon. So now we're going to have the right leg in front. So if you want, you could have a pillow or a block under that right hip. Open the chest. And remember, if you start to feel this is going too much into the back, maybe step hands a bit further forward, lean forward with your back. But if possible, I'm suggesting we're looking for a bit of back bending here. Breathe in and out. Soften tops of the shoulders. And then slowly we release this pigeon pose. So if you have props, put the props aside. Tuck the left foot toes under. And again, step into a downward dog. And we'll take this dog for a walk again. So pedal from one foot to the other. And see if you could also walk forward and backwards along the mat. So taking the whole body for a walk. Walking on hands and feet. Like we might have done when we were kids. It's good to do it here as well. Let yourself maybe find that inner child playfulness in your practice. And then find a downward dog. Breathe there in and out. The head drop down. And slowly come back onto hands and knees. And then see if you could cross the ankles, cross the shins, and sit over the ankles onto your pelvis. So we come sitting on the pelvis. And now we're going to come into a couple more poses. We have our only balancing pose here, the balancing happy baby pose. So make sure you have some room behind you, so that if you roll onto your back, you're not going to hit your head onto the wall. And then slowly, slowly start to lean the weight on kind of towards the back of the pelvis. Lift your feet off the mat and see if you could reach hands to the feet or ankles or hold the backs of the knees. So looking for balance here. If this feels easy now, slowly start to open the legs. Kind of kicking feet away from each other and away from your chest. If you want to go even further, you could slowly, slowly extend the legs even further. But doing all this, we're still balancing on our pelvis. If you roll back, that is very, very fine. It just means that you found your edge in the balancing pose today. Then you can always roll back. So it doesn't matter if we fall out of the pose, we can always build it back up. Take another breath or two in and out. If you want to stay longer, let yourself stay longer. But if it's been enough balancing now, slowly start to bend the knees and release the pose. Bring your feet down and then close the hips and come lie down on your back. And as you come lie down on the back, reach for your props. So maybe a block or a pillow or a blanket. either one or two. We're going to come into a supported bridge as our resting pose. So once you are lying down on the back, bend the knees and then lift your pelvis off the mat and slide a block, a pillow, a cushion, or even two under the pelvis. Now, depending on how high up you want to be in your supported bridge. So if you feel that one prop is too little, then have two on top of each other. And you have an option to stay here with your knees bent, feet on the mat. Or you could open legs into a reclining butterfly. So making this a reclining, supported butterfly bridge. You might bring arms overhead along the floor if you want. So we're creating opening around the pelvic area. A bit of a back bend going on in the spine. Make sure it doesn't hurt. If it does, come out of the pose. Check if it's still easy to smile. Because if you are in pain, smiling might be a bit tricky. So check that you can smile, check that you can easily breathe in and out throughout the pose. Take a couple more breaths in and out. And then slowly, slowly, if you have legs in that butterfly shape, close the hips, bring your feet back onto the mat. Bring arms down, back next to the sides, and then lift the pelvis off the mat so you can push the props aside and bring your back pelvis down to the mat. Once you're back on the mat, extend your legs so you get your heels onto the mat, legs extended. And then we start to slowly move towards Savasana pose, but on our way there, we'll try to help the body relax with some movement. So now keeping your heels against the mat, start to flex and extend your ankles, your feet. So you're flexing and pointing your feet. So you start to rock your whole body forward and back along the mat. Keeping the body soft. See if you could get the movement travel all the way up to the neck. So allowing the movement to resonate through the whole body, rocking back and forth. Let's go a bit faster. See if you could speed up a bit. It's a great way to help the body relax. Keep breathing all the time. A few more times, rocking back and forth. And then slowly let the movement calm down. Let the movement stop. Relax your feet, your ankles, your hips. And find some stillness. Notice how the body feels after that little shaking, rocking movement. Close your eyes if that feels comfortable. And you can bring hands onto your belly. Let your breaths flow all the way down to your hands. Allow each breath out to soften, release tension and effort. And take a moment to reflect on your practice. What did you learn about your own body? What did you learn about yourself in the practice today? Was it easy? Was it difficult to keep open mind? And if something was new in the practice, in the transitions that we did, how easy, how challenging they felt, not just for the body, but for the mind as well. And make all these observations without any judgment. If something was challenging today, maybe it's going to be easier next time. We're always here to learn something new. Not just about the poses and the practice, but most importantly about ourselves. Give yourself another few breaths to rest here. Or if you want to now extend your Savasana pose to be longer, you are very welcome to stay here longer. But if after a few breaths you feel that it would be a good time to start waking up the body, slowly closing the practice, start bringing some gentle movement back to your fingers, your toes. Open your eyes. And then from your back, roll down onto your side. And from your side, bring yourself up into a seat, into your own final seated pose. And that could be any pose you like. Where do you feel that you could give yourself a few more breaths, slowly letting go of the practice. Bring one hand onto your chest, onto your heart. Bring other hand down onto your belly. And thank yourself for bringing your body, your breath, your mind onto the mat, into our flow today. And I thank you very much for joining in. I hope you enjoyed the practice. Namaste. Thank you very much. Good. I really hope you enjoyed the practice, and I hope you had some fun. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up and also leave a comment below. Let me know how this practice went for you. And if you know there's someone who needs a fun yoga practice in their life, please share the video with them. It really helps the channel to grow. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.